This is The Gong Show. The Gong Show.
The Gong Show, indeed. We're in the house with Group 1 crew. So glad to have you guys in town tonight for a show. Now, last time we were together, we had you in Studio A, and we didn't stream it, but we talked about relationships. You guys were so kind to give us your insights. And Manny, what I like about you is that you're just a straight shooter when it comes to dating. And we were just talking in the break about how you got a bit of a left brain, right brain, male, female thing going on.
I do.
You kind of see the big picture. We were together last, we talked about your tune, Not the End of Me, and we were blessed to find out that a lot of the inspiration came out of a conversation we'd had, how sometimes when relationships end, students are at their wits' end, and they want to take their life. Yesterday, I was actually at a Barnes & Noble. I didn't tell you this, but I was working on some devotional material, and we had an emergency chat where a student, actually he was in his 20s, decided it was over. His fiancée had ended it, and he was done. And we're just grateful that prayer works, because we were able to get some people there to help him, and now he's able to get the care he needs today. But relationships can just completely change everything when it comes to logic and making common sense. And what is the deal with these hormones, Manny? What's going on?
I think I think what it really is a case of self-identity. Like, there's certain people that when they get into relationships, they get into it not for the sake of enjoying life with another person, but for the sake of finding worth in another person. So they just kind of lose themselves in that other person. Like, they didn't know who they were before that person. There's a lot of people like that, where they just serial date because they feel like they know who they are with someone, but without someone, that's a scary look, because it's like, man, I gotta figure out why I'm not with someone, or why I'm with so many people, or why are things not working. So I feel it's just basically just an identity thing, man. When you find that more identity in us than in just who you are, then of course when that's gone, you lose all self awareness. There's no world outside of that, and it just comes crashing down, man. So I think that's just what it is for me, man. I know in my past, when I always was dating until I took a long break. I took like a year and a half to do like just fast relationships and really get into why I'm in a relationship and what am I looking out for. Because before, I just used to do it just because it was like, this is what we do as people. I didn't think about it. I didn't think what was the end goal. There was no end goal. It was like, you're hot, let's hang out until we don't hang out anymore. You know? So it was really, I was real like frivolous with my heart. And it brought me to a lot of bad places.
Now you are married, and both of you are married. You know, and not married to each other, which is one of the things in the chat is, are they married? No, although you've taken a lot of rumors over that over the years, I'm sure. But how has your heart had cracks in it because of your past that you brought into your marriage? I'm not saying your marriage isn't great, but I know I have regrets about poor choices. Talk a bit about that, and what does God do with those poor choices if we let him?
You know, I feel like if dudes and if girls knew, like, if I would have known, truly have known, that every single decision that I made as a single person would affect me in marriage, I think I would have handled a lot of things differently. Because people think you got time. I'm 16, I'm 17, I'm 20, I'm whatever. I don't want to be married till 28, 20, whatever. So you think in your mind, I'm going to wild out, or I'm gonna do this, or I'm gonna make decisions, and I'm thinking in the now, and eventually they'll just go away. 2-3 years of good decisions will erase the bad decisions, or I'll forget about them, and they'll never come up. Then you get married, and you're like, holy wow, every single thing that you did up until then is now being brought to the surface, because there's an accountability there that you never had before. Like, you're responsible for every thought now. It's no longer your actions, it's how do I think? If I think this certain way, oh man, like, my wife's there, I'm not supposed to think that way. I'm not supposed to look at that. I'm not supposed to look at her. I'm not supposed to think like all them little things that we just kind of like, oh, it was a joke before. Look at that hot chick, or look at that hot boy, or ha ha, that's funny. Like, those habits that you create as a single person, they carry over. Me and my wife would laugh because I would walk into venues and instantly scan the room and be like, my wife could be here, my wife could be here. Wait a minute, I'm married already. Because I did 10 years of scanning venues. My wife could be here, my wife could be here.
Train your mind,
Train my mind to look, find the maybe my wife's here, you know, and it wasn't like in a dirty way. It was just like I was so excited to find the one that I would spot out every hot girl, and I'd be like, oh, she could be it, she could be it. And so when I got married, that was still there, because I've been single a lot more than I've been married. And so me and her would literally laugh. We'd be like, this is what I did today, and it totally was a single person mistake. One time somebody was like, oh, my cousin's hot, and my wife was like, really? Hook it up. And she was like, wait a minute, take that back.
Wait a minute, that tape
I'm already
played.
married.
Yeah, that's right.
And, you know, and I laugh because it's like, these are the things that you really do. The habits that you create when you're single, they carry over. And it's just, the worst part about it is that you feel horrible thinking and acting certain ways when you're in a commitment like marriage, because you pledge to be your best. And here's your worst coming out like, oh, this is how I used to think. This is what I used to do. And now I have to suffer through it until I can just truly deal with it.
I think my head is just going as he's talking, because I'm trying to think back to when I was in that position, or, you know, being young and falling in love so fast, or just all that. And I think, like, I keep thinking, what's the balance? Because I put myself there, and I remember being like the common answer of, yeah, but, you know, it's not that serious. Like, I'm not like trying to get married tomorrow, you know, like always going to that approach. Like, if someone's like, whoa, look at you, no, we're not gonna get married. It's just like, I just met him, you know. But then also, like, being really young and being like, I'm really serious in a relationship, and people being like, well, you need to slow down, you know, you're not at that level where you should be thinking about marriage, you know. So, like, I think, where do you find that balance of, like, doing the responsible thing, but also not moving too fast and being like, I need to get married, and everything that I do, I'm going to be thinking of, like, you know?
I mean, I think remember that book? I don't know if you guys remember, but Kiss Dating Goodbye?
Yeah.
It was this huge book that all the Christians took way too serious, and everybody broke up with everybody. It was so hilarious. But I understood when I looked at it in a balanced sense. Like, if you would like to get into a relationship being young, and you want to get into it and deal with what's going to come with that, go for it. If you want the scars, fine. Do it. Like, nobody's I'm sure you're not in sin if you do whatever. But responsibility with your heart says, wait till you are in a place that your relationship can progress in its natural course. Like, people get weirded out when they're dealing with sexual sin so early, when it's like, when you're in a relationship, if it's a good relationship, the temptation for sex is going to get stronger because it's supposed to. Like, that's not a bad thing.
It's chemical.
That was what's supposed to happen. You meet a girl, you guys get together, you fall in love, it grows. You want to have sex, you get married, you have sex. That's how it works. That's how a good, functional, healthy relationship works. So when somebody engages in a relationship prior to being ready for marriage, they're starting a roller coaster that they're not even able to finish. Because if your relationship is great, you're gonna want to express it in a physical way. That's just how we were created. So to me, I wish I would have known. I just shouldn't have started if I wasn't ready. Because I always started. I got to that point because it was great relationships, and then for the rest of that relationship, I was in this point where I was just fighting myself, my flesh. Don't fall into this sin. Don't fall into this sin. All these sins are around me, but I don't want to marry you. So let's just hang out until this ends violently. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, and you said it earlier, and we've talked about before, that there's not a good self-awareness for so many people when they're entering relationships. They don't know where they struggle with their own understanding of who they were created to be, and so they do try to do that whole Tom Cruise, you complete me, kind of puzzle piece. And so I love that, this tune that we're going to play next really talks about how, just when the relationship ends, it doesn't need to be the end for me, because I'm a whole person. I was created by a whole God, and He has a whole plan for me. So take a listen to this tune, really pay attention to the lyrics, and if you have a chance, go online and read the lyrics, because they're powerful, by my good friends from Group One Crew. So take a listen to this right here on The Gong Show, RemyLive.com.